statistics very strong, and you were pointing out how important the relationship is between husband and wife around, the looking after of the elderly. Now, I was sharing with you a little bit earlier that can you imagine by the time we get to 2100, almost 2.5 billion people will be over the age of 65. And for us, our continent is also seeing our stats rising from 46 million elderly people in 2015. And by the time we hit 2050, we're going to see 147 million people over the age of 65. And you and I are probably included in these statistics. And they're not just statistics, are they? Dimbuya and Dimai, it's you, it's me, it's your father, it's my Juju, it's Bridget who's also here. Our culture has made space for our elderly much naturally, right? They become like, they have a status, an automatic status. They are revered. And if you can imagine, Karen, families would live close and care would be woven into the systems. Not but now, you've come here to start your own life, and you're in this urban setting, you've got a smaller house, maybe some of your siblings or you are listening in from outside the country, the diaspora. Mari dzacho ukatarisa wakutambira pamwe ishoma, mune vamwe vana vakasiwa nehazvadzi dzakafa nezvirwere zvakasiyana siyana, and now our older people have to step in to raise these grandchildren, to look after, zvisukuru, while in the same breath having to look after their own health. And in most cases, and vanenge vakasenga nhau iyoyi yekuchengetedza baba namai vakura zvinowanzoitwa namadzimai nezvanasikana. In fact, 7 out of 10 of unpaid care work across the world in terms of hours is done by women. And whilst caregiving can be beautiful, it can also feel like a trap. It can feel like a burden, and in some cases resentment might even build, quite like the story we want to talk about today. And what about the drama that comes with in-laws? Late at night, and I was given an example like, you hope vatete vari kuna amwene vari kokoko havazoshungurudzi maitembo vachiti mukadzi uyu unoya kubana 9 mukadzi rudzii. And at the same time, you may find that her staying out late means they've got more money to look after the bills that may also come nemunhu mukuru anenge akura anenge achida kuchengetedzwa. At the same time, you might feel a sense of loss of personal freedom. Hauchakwanisi kuita zvaunga uchida iwe nekuti wakufanira kuchengetedza vanhu vakuru vari pamusha. Ladies camp here yemuna August haishatoendiki because unoshaya kuti unosiyirani mbuya kana sekuru vanenge vada kuchengetedzwa. And yet at the same time, there's got to be grace in what you are doing. You've got to look into. So we want to continue having this discussion. The whole month is actually month of the older person. So we're going to be looking into different situations around this. As always, your stories are important to us. What happens to marriages when the daughter-in-law feels as if there are no boundaries that are being met, and how do we protect our parents without losing ourselves in the process? You still have space to do what you would like to do. My Juju is here as always. My Juju is our MC, and my Juju these days, very busy business. My Juju, you're an entrepreneur too. I mean, you've always been an entrepreneur, but you've got a new business venture. Tell us about that quickly.
So we opened a butcher on 8th and Central. We goat, wow. So I think we should do lunch with any one of our listeners. Love
it. We also have Bridget. Bridget is also an entrepreneur. Bridget, runs a very nice menswear boutique. And, I'm always judging Bridget. Did you know Bridget does nice nails? Bridget initially was a manicurist and does lashes. But then now she decided, no, I just want to do menswear. And I've been judging her for it because I feel like she's shortchanging us. Bridget.
Hi, FoLake.
Judging you.
I was a beauty therapist. I would do every nails, lashes, massage, and everything I can do here. But I decided to change industry. Yeah, I've grown up. I did that when I was young, but when I've grown up. So you need to nosira zvimwe zvinhu vana vari kukura kuita zvinhu zvamavoko woitawo zvimwe zvavanhu vakuru sezvo takura. So now I'm doing menswear, very classic, formal, and smart casual. Corner 7th and Kwame, opposite Chicken Slice along Southern.
So, ladies, question: would you be able to live with your mother-in-law, Bridget?
Okay. From personal experience, I have lived with a mother-in-law, like on my first marriage, and she was good to me, to be honest. And then she passed on, and I was devastated because she's the only person who protected me, my family. When I was pregnant, I would eat any healthy things. She would go after her son, list of groceries. So when I went there and she said she's not a maid, she didn't come here to clean. She even hired a maid when I was there. There was no maid before I got there. And we just make sure you cook nice food. She liked my cooking. So I would only cook. The other things, every weekend we would go to town, spoiler she protected munanga singauye nesalary aita akapiwa salary otangaenda kubhawa akati amurora geza tikuenda kuvazoba rodoka kubasa ikoko vachibuda mubasa vachitiona pagedhi vakangonzi tipewo mari yenyu yega ndini munositanga kunoiya chitipai isusu titange kunoiya isusu tinozonga mutora change komba. And then we'd go to town and sit, like Nando's was a huge restaurant, like Nando's angaine mari tonolasa mari koko.
Sounds like she was a nice mother.
She was a nice. Everything was. At number Neta, she was my best friend because she had sugar diabetes. So I'm asking for me to do. So didn't keep her secret. Maniru and Marara vese masuita pateka viga pakona paepa. So I was also young. I didn't understand even the damage that I'm causing to her as well. You know, they told her and she told her it's just maybe she likes sweets. I didn't know about anything about diabetic. If I knew, I wouldn't allow it. Right on to Mountenga cake.
Mind you, if your mother called today and said, I want to move in with you.
My mom.
Your mother. What would that phone call be like?
So, well, we've had a situation like that before, and we stayed together for a month or so. Well, I was staying with her for the longest time. I moved out, and they had some house issues. They moved in with me. It wasn't bad, you know, but I think she saw it was my space and just gave me the respect as a maidemba kind of thing. So I made sure food was there, what. So I remember this one time we used to have a small fridge, and I'm like to auntie, chicken here, how far? You know those small fridges. You know, we can go 4, we can go 2 kg, we got to Zara, right? She goes, what do you mean? So, you know, here and there should just, you know, contribute. But not that you'll be expecting her to, because I think we would get along. I miss some of those days though, but yeah, I think we'd get along.
Got you. Okay, got you. And do you picture, because me, or you'd have to come up with a plan. For you, what are you thinking in terms of your mother aging? Would you be able to caregive in your house?
I think I would be able to. I probably just need to get a bigger space. I told you I trained for, I did nursery training. And it taught me a lot. You know, the caregiving of grown people is called geriatrics. So there's a lot of things when it comes to vanvakura, ailments, aripo, beats, chronic beats, you know, all the other diseases. And it taught me to be patient. I watched my granny, she died at 97, amputated her gumbo. And you know, just you know, can watch gumbo, your bowel movements, it doesn't change. But imagine you know. So it taught me to be patient with Vanwakuru in terms of Kuruara, because you know, if you notice, like when you're now taking care of them. Yeah. So I think I would be able to, and I'll be able to give her the care that she requires. Yeah.
And if it were your mother-in-law, you've got 2 mother-in-laws in a sense, right?
Yep.
Yes, because your husband has a blended family.
True.
Right. If it was your mother-in-law, and I know this kind of feels like an unfair question, and there's only really one way to answer this question, but in an honest situation, would you be comfortable and happy to caregive your mother-in-law until she dies?
That's a tricky one. I have stayed with her. She's visited, and when she does, we get along. But you know, when a person visits, you're at your best behavior, and you're trying to provide as much as you can at the time that they're there, knowing that they're going soon. So I remember she had an encounter where she had a mild stroke. I'm on a neighbor. Unjani mama. She failed to respond. I don't go on. And then that neighbor called the daughter, and then akatonotura mama wake wakaendeswa ku hospital. But because it was mild, she was able to talk after a couple of hours after being attended to. But wakatombo deteriorate, you know. So now, you know, panoti tende koko because it's farm, like, you know, sometimes no namna kurwara usina mari, it doesn't make sense. So we were like, you know, let's send money. But the babatsirike health wise, even if we're not there in person. So pane pandaka zoronga kwenda ikoko, and I saw her. Unokochonoti, the situation has changed. And you are saying, no, Malukazana, did it right? But you also know the person I saw and this person, health is deteriorated a little. But remember, Munanurwada, and it only makes sense to you when you see me today and then you see me after 2 weeks, for you to be able to tell the difference with Munu has deteriorated or has improved. So it was an okay visit, but you know, you know, she's not 100%, but you know. But she was okay. Yeah, maybe because you don't want to be like a weakling kind. But yeah, we do get along.
Yeah. Do you think caring for your mother or your father or your in-laws is easy?
No, it's not easy. No, you find patience. So you have to be patient because you are dealing with munu. Like literally everything, like going somewhere, even using my bathrooms, you have to monitor. It's just the same as that. Already. So it's not that easy. Also, they come with personally, she was old when I was little. I remember yeah, so that time she was old, and that was the situation. But when I was young, I didn't understand what was going on. Yeah, so I also have my granny. Also, the day that I told you my granny is, she even came that day. My mom was even shouting with she always up and down. She's not. So I told her that part last week. And you should ask them what they want. So I still want to ask that question. What does she want? I haven't asked
since last week.
Yeah.
So I think taking care of your own parents is easier. Because and you most probably know what they want and what they don't want. My in-laws are tricky. Remember, and it's a blended family. Wapinda mairi and it's and the power kupinda mairi, I guarantee you and imagine me being your murora. I might not even be the most like I don't know what to tell you. She's too open-minded, you know. I speak my mind, right? I remember in other past relationships, right? But I was saying it jokingly. She goes, because mama, not my fruits and it because I didn't have money, but I meant it jokingly. But any sense
of humor.
You see, so munasna kujaira that might take offense and assume I'm disrespectful. And like you said, Cha, you've called me enough the things. I don't hide anything, you know. Like, and let me tell you another story. So Sekuruwa Juju had an eye issue. He came from Buluwayo. I brought him here. He was supposed to go to Karanda. Before I take you to Karanda, let me take you to my ophthalmologist first. And then through phoning, I heard the same ophthalmologist I was taking him to is the one Anora Pagubi Kukaranda. So they waited for him when he came back Maneru, right? He waited till Maneru to attend to them. Akatotara akati ziso renyu iri, I'm not because akana kuya nemabhuku history whatever. Chikanzura the infection. But infection hatukuzocheka konzerwa nekuscrapwa kwamakaita here kwamakabva. But none the long and short of the story is ziso rofana kubviswa. Chamuri kupukuta unge musodzi zvewaita asi musodzi ihurwa mune infection. Saka number 1, I'm going to treat your infection. Number 2, we have to remove the eye. And it ndikati saka process yacho haufa zvikanzi panapa we charge this much, we use kwakati tobva taita. If you want to do the public route, so vapamanikini. Chikanzi, so what would you want? Inini bluntly I just said, Baba, what he's trying to say is, if he's killing you, you are choosing to be killed by a gun or by a knife.
You said this.
Yes. That was gun yako to or five people, but it's the truth. And it's like, no, I think for now, let's treat the infection. They treated the infection that day. He slept well, Randy, for the days he was around, until he later went back. But he was up and down Wange and Harare, trying to get care at one of the public hospitals. If not after 3 or 4 months. But this eye was cancerous. You understand? This go and test this. She can be sure this is cancerous. We have to remove. But but cancer it can spread to other parts of the what? Of the body. But I think maybe he just couldn't come to terms with Kunzi.
I mean, I couldn't come to terms with losing an eye.
But moving around with the cancer.
Yeah, what you process
I know it's hard, obviously. It was hard for him. But it's also insensitive, but ultimately
so he didn't take you saying that wow.
Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why.
He didn't have to say it, but I saw it.
I can see why. 0719 100 404. As you're listening in, are you living with your in-laws? Okay. And when they've moved in, did that change your marriage with your partner? Do you feel like your space has been compromised? You've lost your freedom? Do you feel supported or suffocated? 0719 100 404. Good morning, welcome to Capital. Makaniko. Good morning, welcome to Capital. Magadi. Okay, I cannot seem to hear them. Hello? Okay, all right. Have you had to look after your in-laws? Did it change your marriage or did it strengthen your marriage? 0719 100 404. Zvirinyorere kugara namwene natezvara na ambuya when you've moved in, and when they had to move in, what was the conversation you had to have with your partner? I'm asking because today we also have a story from a listener who has a situation quite like this that we're discussing. But interestingly, my Juju, if you were to have one of your in-laws move in, what conversation do you think you would need to have with my Juju?
Hey. Because whatever you say, you'll be judged. Because vachagara for how long without vaende kupi? You understand? So a lot of people suffer in silence. Makachengeta amadzemu ngomchadi vari vakadzvarira murume handiti. But unotozonzwa manje nemaconversation anotaura uko kuti munhu haasi kufara. Kana utaona kuti pamba pana baba haasi kufarwa, mai vane attitude because kune munhu ari kudi ari kurwara. So also depending on the chirwere aspect now. Because pane some diseases ekuti inini pamwe handina know how kuvachengeta. We need a caregiver and we can do the other parts. But the primary caregiver probably is a nurse aide who knows.
Kramsina Maria nurse aide.
Ipapo manje. Tamtoshanisa gulu.
I think also it all depends with the kind of relationship that you have. Kana mine sawa relationship, it's gonna be difficult and hard. Marriage I tombo last. You know to needs marriage you kana it depends kuti mamweni vacho munowirirana here, and also it depends. Unogona kunge a nice person and you do everything but they are not satisfied all the time. They can't appreciate anything. It's just that they don't like you because there's something that they don't like about you. Like my mom, she's a good amwene, she lives in Aurora like peacefully, and she keeps quiet. She's the best amwene that I've ever seen in my life.
So,
to be honest.
Aurora got at her house or she's staying at their house?
They're staying with my mom at my mom's house. So I had my first Morora. She was married for 20 years. They never had issues. In the Morora, we best friend is my mom. Best friend, apana friend and Buddha Pamba Shamari outside. They are best friends, very too. They do most of the things. They say very too. They are the best friends. Also, my granny, she was a good mother-in-law as well. And I think it's just coming from there. I'll be a good mother-in-law as well because I think I can accommodate people. I think I'm very loving. I'm very extra loving.
Questioning my
it's a good thing to say that you think.
I think I can try for myself. I try.
So what do you think?
So we're trying to figure out this morning if you've had to live with your in-laws or if you are living with your in-laws, has that changed your marriage? And if they were to move in, what sort of conversation do you think needs to be had between you and your partners? Because I think it depends on the relationship you partner also the character emunu. If usiri a person at a patient home care emunu akura neta. All right. So here is our situation for the day. A man has his own challenges with looking after his wife's mother. Take a listen to this.
Ndine issue iripoka ndekuti ndina ambuya vangu vari kurwara. So zvavari kurwara, problem yavo we thought kuti changa chiri chinhu chaigona kungo resolvika within a short space of time. So pokutanga initially takaenda private doctors chifunga kuti problem idiki, but ndokuzondouza kuti problem is something chatotora upenyu hwese vachida kuramba vachingondoonekwa nana chiremba. So my worry now is the procedures dzinodiwa nana chiremba, it's a bit expensive. So kuti uudze mudzimai kuti no, let's consider other better options dzinogona kutichipira. Asi andakaona sokuti initially haana kutambira zvakanaka. But on my side now, semhuri totoona kutoti pautodiwa mari dzakati wandei, of which tinogona kuzotadza kuzokwanisa mari dziri kudiwa nana chiremba because urwere hwatova hweupenyu hwese vachifanirwa kuenda kuna chiremba. Saka kuti uudze mudzimai now anogona kufila as if you don't care nokuti mai vari kurwara ndimai vake. But so handizivi kuti what will be the best way to maybe kuti tigone kutaurirana, vanogona kumuudza nyaya so that anoitambira will be at the same wavelength naye kuti agone. It's not yekuti I don't care, but it's an issue yekuti in terms of resources tinogona kunge tiri pama1.
0719100404. My his mother-in-law is unwell. They're taking her to a private hospital, and then the wife said, let's move her to a private hospital, which they've done. Now, initially they thought it was a minor issue, but it looks like it's not a minor issue. It's a chronic condition that needs
constant attention.
Right. But now say they need $300 a week. After a while, you might not be able to afford $300 a week, plus your children, plus your fees, and other things that you need to do. Say, how do we we need to rethink this decision? But somehow, and which is fair.
So in this case, I think if we could call the guy, we need to find out, are they both working, number one? Because pane pamwe pekuti mumwe ari kuexpecta kuti ongozvibudisa mari iye asina contribution. And already as it is, their communication is poor. Because kana achigona kungombudi pane pamwe poti togona kungobudana pachena kuti shaka baby uda kuti tiende kuprivate but unoziva kuti salary yangu neyako dzakabatanidzwa. No, but let's be practical. Iwo kana ukatozwa kuti salary yemurume wako i500 yako i300 but kurora pamai vako kunodiwa 300 inobva kupi? But uya akutadza kufunga zviri practical because in her heart or emotion wise ndimai vangu vakandizvara, ndimai vangu vakandirera, kuti ndive pandiri ndimai vangu, but you don't have money to support chirwere chiripo.
Okay, when we are married, it's not me only, we are one. It's like tiri2 vanhu mukarorana manyama imwe. So it's not about who it is and who is not. Nekuti iye wakazvarirwa mudzimai wakanaka akamuzvarirawo vana varipo. So it's not about who you are and what you do when you are making decisions of helping another person. You don't have to compare. Kana baba vari kushanda because she can't demand something that she knows kuti they don't have. There is something that she knows, might know, because iwe FoLake ungandiudza kuti kune murume wako ndoda mari yake yaunozoti haana iwewa utozoti haana. You say something that you know he can have it. That's my thought.
But pane pamwe pekuti, alright, I'll give an example. Mukushanda kwatinoita tine tumwe tumapisi job tinoita pamaside ande tumaside hustle. Side hustle haikuwinise every day. Unongogwina ka1 unoona ka 500 but akauya every month. But une constant salary yako toti $500. Mumuso wagwina diri mwana mari ototi mukadzi wangu Bridget shamwa tagwina diri but okatuwa ndaita 500 but haisi mari iri guaranteed. And mari yakadaro amene zvinokuitika ma situations eurwere aibatiki. You're only left with that amount which is guaranteed. So hence ndabvunza nyaya yekuti anoshanda here. It's not a comparison. Because iwewe kana pata ron padiwa 300 per week asi pay yedu iri 1000 tiri 2. 300 per week amounts to 1.2 in a month. Yedu yatinayo mari plus my expense yedu rent inechi. Takorara tina kudya because my yako arikuwara. But in the Gadaro, I sound insensitive.
You do sound.
Yeah, you do. But it's not my day.
But in this case, in actually let's look for better, cheaper options than it. But you know when some go private. Because I could mind but
yeah.
But be practical as well. So that in Murieda, if I learn in Zara, because we can get a muji.
0719-100-404. What would you do if you were this guy? Aremerwa nama sports in a sense. His mother-in-law is unwell. His wife wants, her mother to go to a private hospital, which he has obliged. But now he's seeing that the care that she needs is chronic. $300 a week at least. And he's saying it's not going to be sustainable. He doesn't know what to do, how to handle this. He's trying to have this discussion with his wife. SistersKeeper. We just say 0719-100-404. What would you do? Take a listen to this.
Samari ndine issue iripoka ndekuti ndina ambuya vangu vari kurwara. So zvavari kurwara problem yavo we thought kuti changa chiri chinhu chaigona kungo resolveka within a short space of time. So pokutanga initially takaenda ku private doctors chifunga kuti problem idiki but ndokuzondoudza kuti problem is something chatotora upenyu hwese vachida kuramba vachingondoonekwa nana chiremba. So my worry now is the procedures dzinodiwa nana chiremba is a bit expensive. So kuti uudze mudzimai kuti no, let's consider other better options dzinogona kutichipira. Asi andakaona sokuti initially haana kuzvitambira zvakanaka. But on my side now, semhuri totoona kutoti pautodiwa mari dzakati wandei of which tinogona kuzotadza kuzokwanisa mari dzekudiwa nana chiremba. Because urwere hwatova hweupenyu hwese vachifanirwa kuenda kuna chiremba. Saka kuti uudze mudzimai now anogona kufila as if you don't care nokuti mai vari kurwara ndimai vake. But so handizivi kuti what will be the best way to maybe kuti tigone kutaurira kana tigone kumuudza nyaya iyi so that anoitambira at the same wavelength naye kuti agone kuitambira kuti no, it's not yekuti I don't care, but it's an issue yekuti in terms of resources tinogona kunge tiri pama1.
sangotatira kusaiti zvinotaura whatever kuti pay kana salary yenyu yakamira sei yemurume yakamira sei panotozopinda muzvikwereti avo kuti ichi vanhu vakwanise kuita sei kuovercome problem. Saka murikuratidza because ndizvo zvamuri kufunga nematauriro enyu, but problem haigari iripo. Problem inotoserwa ichitopera. That's why it's a problem. Problem ikatanga chasara ndechekuti ipere. Saka kuti pay ikandasiya hazvika haigari ichingoda pay problem. Inotosvika pakutopera kuti pay inongosvika kutoshanda zvaringe ifanira kutoshanda, problem yapera. Saka
I'm listening attentively. I'm still trying to hear what this guy is trying to say.
True.
What is the solution? Say we cannot afford $300 a week.
True.
We have got to rethink our strategy in terms of caring for my mother-in-law. My wife is not hearing this.
I think he was answering my juju when you were talking about salary. You were the one who mentioned about the salaries because he didn't talk about salaries. So I think
I pay.
I thought I should pay my salary or anything.
But the fact that the guy would married it means whatever source of incomes they have, be it salary, be it business. Because ultimately, uruwere nyangwa ukavapo undikavapo a caregiver kuvageza kuvadi kana pasina mari utenga ma periods, health will deteriorate. Kana sina mari ekwenza kuti aende kucheck up chako kwa doctor, health will deteriorate. From conversation yataurwa yandi reminder of this guy, this acquaintance slash friend akaposta picture ya mai vake achiti rest in peace. Unoti hayo mama wako akafarini chichichi akati vakafa so tikanzi ndichedza ndichiri kubhadhara chikwereti chemari yandakakwereta ndichirapisa mai vangu ndobva vazofa. Imagine the pain ekuti it's now a anniversary of whatever months or a year or whatever, but he's still paying for urwere hwamai vake vakazofa per surgery or whatever the case happened, but achiri kubhadhara chikwereti.
Because the idea is to give the best support that you can.
That you can and try. Also, from my point of understanding what he's saying, he said because now this thing it has been like figured it's continuous. And that's when he's starting from. He's not starting like now we don't have. He said
in the
long run it's going to affect us. So it's for the later it's a long process. So to minimize our budget as well because it's a long term.
Yeah. As you're listening in 07191040, sorry, my juju. If your parent fell ill long term, would your partner fully support you, or would cracks start to appear in your relation? Let's be honest. 07191040. In this situation, what should this guy do? Because it's not just about money as well, it's about being seen and many other things. Paul Gadzika say we really need to rethink this decision at 07191040. 6271, good morning.
The reason why probably this wife is demanding kuti mai vaende to private hospital is because she earns more. It doesn't necessarily mean if you're in a marriage, especially these days, it's the women breadwinners. Murume ndianenge achingwavha ngwavha amai vatori kune chimwe NGO vachitambira $5,000 yavo pamwedzi, and then murume akutobhajeta mariyo yakuti aiwa iwewe amai ako hazviti kuti vaende private hospital when I know kuti I earn enough to have my mom admitted or receiving the best medical care. Pafungewe papo for time marume time can be insensitive. If it were his mama we are ready to
okay, let's play nice.
That's interesting. It was my point as well.
Yeah. If it was that angle, he wouldn't come forward. I gonna know my wife Pamachi I couldn't disobey because they are no earn more money or something. In this case, it probably might not be the
limited
case.
resources.
Because in any, I've seen with women, who are not playing go. No sleep a mari,
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Just hold it up. Good morning, welcome to Capital.
Morning, ladies.
Good, thank you. How are you?
Great fight.
Yeah.
So I'm in a similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mother is sick,
Right.
and I'm taking care of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I think my situations are easy to judge. Not to you who do the votes.
Right.
If it's your mother, like what I'm saying, my mother is in a similar situation.
Right.
So it's your last dollar to make sure that your mother is. But at least you don't blame me this.
Got you.
Money is everything.
Yes.
I think
Got you.
thing. Okay.
Got you. And thank you for that reminder. In this situation, what do you think this guy should do when you as a couple, let's say it was your husband's mother-in-law that you're looking after, you can clearly see that it's straining both your budget, because it's both your budget, right? Mm-hmm. How would you navigate that conversation?
Like right now, okay, I think the lucky part for me is I'm alone.
Right.
I understand where this woman is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's your parent, it doesn't matter how much it is. It doesn't have a price tag. You will do everything. Right now, I'm on my way to take my mother to the doctor. I don't have a cent on me.
Right.
But I'll make sure the last $100 that I have, I'll put it towards my mother.
Got you. What's the sort of conversation you are having with your partner about this?
I don't have a partner. Lucky enough for me, I don't have a partner.
Right. Okay. If you had a partner, do you think you would be able to make unilateral decisions because it's your mother?
Have to understand where they're coming from.
Okay.
Parents that has taken care of you, that has sent you to school, that has probably helped you in one of the most situations in your life. I'm telling you, money doesn't have a place.
Got you.
I not understand where you're coming from, because that's your parents.
Got you.
Has given life to you.
Yeah.
And that is given to you.
Got you. We're sending you hugs. We hope mom will recover well, and we will have you at the center of our thoughts. And thank you so much for calling. And you know, it's a tough place to be. It's your parents.
These are sacrifices that you have to do. It's all about sacrifices.
So you see, you would make a sacrifice for your mom way better than I would make a sacrifice for your mother.
Yes, that's the point.
Good morning, welcome to Capital. Makadiko.
Hello.
Hi, Makadi.
Makadiyo.
Tiripo todiko ambuya vaugara.
Onera hangu.
Eh.
Hangu situation yakadaro.
Uh-huh.
Asi murume uyu ngataure nemukadzi wake.
Right.
You must get to the level yacho yekuti mari haichakwana. Asina kwereta kana kudii. I'm taking a point yekuti even kumhuri yemukadzi wake kune vanhu variko, vanasekuru, vanatano, kana asvika palevel iyoyo yekuti havachakwanisi, vanofanira kuunganidza vanhu. Toita sei ndo situation yake.
Got you.
Yeah.
Tinotenda baba nemafungiro enyu akatikoshera. Hanzi ngavatogara pasi anatsano
sekuru like hanzvadzi wodza amai.
Right. All right. 4256, good morning.
Nguva yekuti mari haisi kukwana sabhodi nemari dzinogona kukwana, but let's look at it from the other side yekuti kazhinji zvakadaro it's possible communicating kuti mari dzedu imari capacity yekuwana mari yakasvika papi. If they already know each other, unobva mari yakati, so together towana mari yakati, there shouldn't be this problem. Because hakuna munhu arisasikambona chinza kuti vanozosvika 30 weeks tisina mari, saka tinoitora.
Got you.
No, you make that decision.
Yeah, sorry Baba, only because of time we're gonna have to pause that, but there's a very fundamental point, and I think my Juju also highlighted this. if you're working together as a unit, then you must know how much money you have.
True.
So maybe there are more problems here that we need to allow this listener. Will try to get a hold of him next week and see if we can unpack, because this is the month of older persons, and we're going to be talking about issues that come up. And it has been SistersKeeper. Thank you so much, my Juju. Thank you so much, Bridget. They'll be back again next week. You and I will spend some more time again tomorrow between 9 and 12. It's 12 o'clock. It's news time.
Guys,